And welcome to the M2 podcast. We're on episode 24, season 4. That might be the first time I've ever even talked about the episodes, right? I don't think I
Yeah,
don't think it's been once.
maybe.
But
Yeah, that might be it.
yeah, I guess so. But without further ado, I'm your host, Michael Lancy, my co-host, Mr. J.K. Heath, Kyle Heath. And this is the show where we basically cover your weekly gaming news and reviews, all technology, upcoming games. I don't know. What else is there? Sometimes we sprinkle in like esports and personalities, I
Yeah,
think.
sometimes technology
Yeah,
innovation every now and again.
technology. Yeah, that's facts. Facts. So, without further ado, what we like to do is start off with updates. So, Kyle, what do you have going on the last week? Did you have a good weekend? Because before we even started recording, I was ranting about my weekend,
Dude, yeah.
and I don't. It has nothing to do with gaming, so we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But
I would just
what do you have going
I,
on?
I would just tell the audience we need to cut my man Mike some slack this week if if performance is
Nah.
subpar because he had a weekend to say the least. So, anyways, won't go into too much details. But what I will say, I played a game this week.
Oh yeah,
How about that?
is it a new game? New
It is
game
a
or
new
just
game.
like
It is.
general games?
It is a new
Like
game.
okay.
I want to play some older games soon. But anyways, it was a
Did you play
was a new game.
BattleBit?
That was the game. It was the game I was going to mention. Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. That
That'll
looks so
be
much fun.
Dude, this is the thing. I heard so much about this game, like in the past week alone. It's like so many people just like praising it. Saw some videos on it. And then some of my buddies were like, yo, you've heard about BattleBit? I was like, is it that Roblox Battlefield looking game? They're like, yeah, dude. And so we hopped on and played. And I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It was, I think, I mean, I love like Roblox shooters and stuff like that, like those type of games. So I think going into it, I knew what to expect to a certain extent. But it's like it's weird because like the way that I think it's like a team of like 2 or something like that made it, but the way they made it, it feels a lot smoother and cleaner because it's on its own client kind of thing. So it's just I think there's it gives some extra it gives the game I think some kind of extra like punch, but it runs really well. Didn't have any like connection issues or anything. And it's a low poly game, so essentially everything is very like bare bones,
Yeah.
which I think for a shooter does wonders for like performance and not having to worry about loading so much. And pretty much it's one of those games any computer I feel like could run it like pretty well,
That's
So
awesome.
but yeah,
What platform is it on? Just Steam?
I think it's just Steam right now. It's just PC. But again, I mean, if you have like a laptop, you could probably run it. They have their graphical presets are pretty funny. I think it's like high, medium, low, and then potato. They actually have like a potato preset, which is funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I think as a shooter, it plays pretty well. I very much enjoyed it so far. I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more. Hopefully, this weekend or a little bit later in the week. But yeah, it was a good time. So I would recommend it. It is $15. So I guess for some people it's kind of like they may have to weigh out options. Like because I mean so many shooters and stuff are now free, but I'm not necessarily opposed to spending $15, even $20, $30 for a shooter. Assuming it's a fully fleshed out solid game that just delivers on like an FPS in general. So, and I think the whole like free aspect of shooters. Obviously there's going to be more cheating and stuff like that. Just prone to it. So I think it also is that barrier to entry also cuts down on the cheating. Doesn't necessarily negate it like completely, but definitely cuts it down. I don't feel like I've run into like a cheater like when I've been playing. It seems to all be like fair play. So that's good as well. But yeah, solid game. That was I think it was all I got around to this week, if I'm being honest. But solid game nonetheless. Did you play anything this week, Mike? Maybe a little Clone Hero, maybe a little I don't know, Rocket League. I don't know.
Not even, man. Like, I thought I would get an opportunity. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, Saturday night, I'm at my buddy's place out of town, right? We're playing an N64 Mario Kart and N64, like 2 separate games, right? N64 Mario Kart and N64 Super Smash Bros. Mods. So it's like we were playing Mario Kart with Dragon Ball Z characters, which was crazy. It was like they had all the different types of like item pickups. they attributed it to like the Dragon Ball universe. And if anybody knows anything about the Dragon Ball universe, like some of the things I'm talking about is if you were to use a mushroom, normally in Mario Kart you would go faster. In this Dragon Ball game or Dragon Ball mod, they made it so the mushrooms were now sensu beans, which like gives you health and gives you like extra stamina in the Dragon Ball verse for people that haven't seen it. But it was pretty cool. There was something else like, oh yeah, the lightning that basically damages everybody, makes them like super tiny, right?
Yeah.
It's actually one of the dragons from Dragon Ball. It was like he shouts something out too. It's like when you're sliding and stuff, the Z looks like the Dragon Ball Z logo. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty sick.
It was pretty fun. We played basically like N64 Super Smash Mod, which had like Young Link in it. It had uh,
Yeah.
Falco, yeah,
I always
in
said
it.
Falco. Falco.
Ga- yeah, and like Ganondorf and stuff like that. It was like pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically kind. It reminded me of like Melee with all the different characters,
Yeah.
but for the N64.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
that's really interesting. Sounds like a lot of fun just to like
Yeah.
to introduce like new characters into the older Smash games.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We also played like old school games that I can't even remember what it was called. It's like everybody's a car and they drive around and get item pickups, like gun attachments, and they try to shoot each other like a battle arena game in N64. I used to know what it's called, like Retribution 8 or something like that. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to guess at it. But that's basically all I've really played, man. Other than that, I've been watching YouTube videos on battle bits that you played, and
Yeah.
all like my favorite YouTubers that are big in FPS say it's like the most fun they've had playing games in a very long time. So
I mean, yeah, I would
I
agree. I had a blast.
yeah.
I think, and one thing I didn't mention too is it's got like proximity chat. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that's true.
but the caveat to it is like it has proximity chat, but also it has a way that you can opt in to essentially like have battle chatter on, even if you're not using game chat. So like if you're in push to talk and you like check off this box, essentially when you die, the enemy's gonna hear what you're saying. So it's like you kind of
That's awesome.
you like sign up for it beforehand, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I enabled it because I just think it's funny and like I always think it's
Yeah.
like I think it adds to the experience, which is kind of their idea for that was like the devs' idea, and I think it's a good idea. So that's just me.
No, I'm on the same page as you, man. Like being able to hear other people is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, sure.
It adds more content, it makes it more personal, like a better experience. It could be a toxic experience though. There is a caveat. It just depends. Some people ruin it. But if you're just trying to be overly nice, like
Yeah,
somebody has a good shot and you're like, good shot, man.
yeah,
It's like that guy's so nice.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
but yeah, man. I've also watched like a bunch of different game trailers and just getting excited for what's to come. I think is probably the main stuff that I've been working on. But yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
that would be a good segue to get into what Microsoft is planning to do with Xbox Series X and the Game Pass.
you said it. You know, yeah, you said it. Like I do. I also
I'm
did adjust your camera because I noticed. I wonder how many people watching noticed. But like, it showed like the Discord, like, because like whenever we record this, we obviously film through Discord. But it showed like the little talking like highlight on the side. I just now
oh
noticed
like
that.
yeah, the
You know?
little is it green or
Yeah, it's
yellow?
like a green like line.
Yeah, a
I
little
was like
green
looking at you
tint.
and I was like, dude, what is that? And then I like saw it. It was like I was like, oh, so I had to like scoot your thing anyway.
Oh, you had
Um,
me worried because I was messing with my camera earlier, trying to figure out the right layout. I was like, what am I
yeah.
showing in the background? Like,
I think even then it's like slightly off. Anyways, this is the M2 podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be we'll fix it in the next episode, but we have to talk about a few things. One of them being what Mike said. Microsoft is finally, some may say finally, hiking the prices on a lot of their I say a lot of their stuff, but it's only two things really. So this is an article from The Verge, Tom Warren, the GOAT, you know. I'll say it, the senior editor himself over at The Verge. Um, he dropped this breaking news a little bit earlier today. He said Xbox Series X pricing will remain the same in the US and match the PS5 pricing in most other markets. And the Game Pass is going to go up in most markets for pricing. So, little argue here. I'll read first couple paragraphs here. Microsoft is increasing its Xbox Series X prices in most countries in August, apart from the US, Japan, Chile, Brazil, and Colombia. The Xbox maker is also increasing the monthly prices of its Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions for the first time next month, which will see the base Game Pass subscription for console move up to $10.99 a month from $9.99. We've held on our prices for consoles for many years and have adjusted the prices to reflect the competitive conditions in each market, says Carrie Perez, the head of communications for Xbox, in a statement to The Verge. Xbox Series X console pricing will largely match the price hike Sony announced for the PS5 last year, and the Xbox Series X moving to $479.99. That's just pounds, so this is like all in British pounds. 549 euros. Is that the euro icon? I can't even remember.
Looks like an E.
Yeah, it's like the E with the two dashes.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then it's going to be 650 Canadian. Canada. It's always funny seeing the Canada prices because it's always so like elevated.
Yeah, they're getting farmed.
Yeah, dude, and Australia is worse. It says here Australia is 800. That's how much it's going to be. And this is all starting August 1st. The Xbox Series X pricing will not be adjusted in any markets, and it will remain at $29.99 USD. While Xbox Series X pricing adjustments have been expected after Sony's move last year, Xbox chief Phil Spencer also hinted in October that pricing for subscriptions wouldn't hold forever. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass for console pricing will increase starting July 6th. It's only a couple weeks away, Mike. Like right there, you know?
Yeah, that's very true.
There. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will move from $15 per month to $17 per month, and the base Xbox Game Pass for console pricing will move from $10 a month to $11 a month. Microsoft's not changing the PC Game Pass pricing though. I mean, hey, you lucked out. You know, if you're just using the PC one, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you're not even phased.
Ain't even affected, you know. If you're an existing Game Pass monthly subscriber, then these new recurring prices won't take effect until August 13th or September 13th in Germany. It's so weird. Every market is so, like, it's got these caveats and like, these little nuances, and it's, like, so different. But, you know, thankfully, it's not us as the consumer to keep up with this.
Yeah, fact. We're
I would
just
hate
trying
to be
to...
the legal team trying to cross these T's. New Xbox Game Pass members will see new prices immediately on July 6th. So yeah, if you're I guess it's almost, I think of this almost like a grandfathered in kind of thing. So if you've been subscribing to it, you get like an extra month where you don't get the increase. But yeah, if you're thinking about joining, you're out of luck. Someone has to say, you know, gotta pay the extra $2. And then yeah, they show a giant chart kind of going through Game Pass pricing and how it shakes out for each region. So if you're really curious in your particular region, this article provides that. A little more details. I mean, there's some more paragraphs. We may get to it at some point, but I gotta hear your initial thoughts, Mike. What are we thinking here?
Well, I don't know how to really feel, right? Because Phil Spencer for the longest time has always said that they had no intentions of changing the Game Pass price and no intentions on changing the cost of the consoles. Because a couple of things were going on with like PlayStation. I believe you were saying that like in context, it was when the PS5 prices were announced. They're saying how high like those prices were for the consoles and how PlayStation's also trying to make not their cloud gaming service, but they had the Sony like PlayStation Plus or whatever it was. What was the actual? Why is it slipping my mind? They had like a membership program similar to the Game Pass, but it was a subscription based service only on the console.
You let PlayStation Now? Is that what we're talking about?
Something like that, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought that was their showcase, but they it was like in the context of that, but it might have been a year or two ago since Phil Spencer actually said that they weren't going to raise prices. But now it's like they say they're hiking the price of the consoles and the Game Pass, but I think they're just raising the cost of it due to how much more value that not just the console has, but the Game Pass has. We've covered it pretty much every single one of our episodes about every new game coming on and how much better it makes Game Pass and more appealing it is.
Yeah.
It's like some of these games are outrageous, man. They're so much fun. So it kind of makes sense that they're raising it, but it's one of those things where it's like the comments from the CEO of Xbox is dependent on what's going on with like the competitors, right? So they're just equalizing the cost in other markets with PlayStation.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
very true.
What about
Yeah.
you?
Um,
What's your take?
I think Game Pass wise, it makes sense. I think it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you're saying, the value is insane, and it just gets better. And now we're gonna have Bethesda games, and also they're gonna be day one. So you just subscribe for like $15 a month or $17 a month now. You subscribe for that, and you get. I mean, there's a lot of value, and I'm almost shocked they don't charge like I don't know, maybe one day, I'm knock on wood, I guess that they but like they could charge 25, $30 and it would probably be justifiable to a lot of people at that point still. So
Yeah.
look, I'm all for it. They get that recurring revenue, right? This is what these
That's
companies
really what
go
it's
for.
about.
They want that guaranteed, a rough guarantee. Obviously, but like at the same time though, when there's millions of people subscribed to a service, you pretty much have a very good idea of how much you're gonna get that month, even if people cancel, because it's it varies. I feel very little, but yeah, dude. I think for Game Pass, it makes sense. I think console wise, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's very much following in Sony's footsteps, obviously. Which if your competitor's doing this, I think it gets to a point where it's like, um, they had that edge for a little bit, but now it's like it probably they're thinking at this point it's just time to give that up and just kind of make sure they're still competitive and still making more money because at the end of the day, as a business, that's what you want to do, right? So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I mean, I think overall it makes sense. I personally like for someone like me, like Xbox Series X pricing isn't going to affect me because I just, if I'm being honest, have no plans to ever get an Xbox Series X. So it's kind of just
Yeah.
the Game Pass is the one that obviously I think affects me and probably a lot more people. It's going to be the Game Pass pricing. So I think it makes sense. So I don't. I think it's an okay change. It's a little bit more, but I think overall the service is worth it. I mean, the price is like hiking right before like Starfield 2, which is for recurring members.
That's a good point.
Which is interesting, but yeah.
It is interesting timing. And it also comes on the heels of like we should have a decision pretty soon about Microsoft Activision Blizzard through the FTC.
Yeah.
So that should be happening probably in the next week or so.
Yeah. Hopefully it's getting really weird, and I think at this point it's like I don't know what's gonna happen because like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it got shot down. And then it's like from there where does Microsoft go next? Like do they try to like alter the deal and like go through the whole process again? Because now you're probably another year delayed on this, and it's like yeah, be interesting.
Yeah, that's a good question. I wonder if they could possibly maybe like because they're raising the price of the Game Pass. I wonder if they could kind of integrate some type of partnership with other companies. A couple ones that I'm thinking off like right off the bat is World of Warcraft subscriptions for the yearly and stuff. Like maybe you can combine that with Game Pass or something like whatever YouTube Pro is. Uh, the TV,
Like
like
YouTube
YouTube
Premium,
TV.
yeah, YouTube
Yeah,
TV, YouTube.
premium is the one I was looking for. Uh, yeah, like combine that with other companies and create some type of partnership that would even further justify raising the cost of the Game Pass.
Yeah, it's very true.
That could be something that I would very much like to see, to be honest, or just add it all together and make it so I don't have to pay anymore. That'd be
Yeah.
cool too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not a bad idea. It kind of reminds me of I know you're not in Apple's ecosystem, but I will say one thing I will give Apple credit for is they do have the ability to, if you really want to get in their ecosystem and have everything from like Apple Arcade to Apple like TV to Apple Music and all that. If you want all those services, they have it so you can just essentially bundle everything for like a kind of a lower rate almost. And so if you
Yeah.
want to get everything, it's like I think it's like $30 a month or something like that, and you get access to like all their services. I think you even get like some cloud storage too. It's like they essentially took all the services, put it under one price point, and it'd be interesting to see. I think to your point, like Xbox kind of do something like that. We already had the partnership with EA. What if like Ubisoft wanted to join in, or what if like YouTube wanted to join in? And I think there's a lot of opportunity there to kind of make it so it's all under one price. Because not only is that I think more appealing to a consumer, but I think it just makes everyone's life a little bit easier, especially once they get the details worked out. It's kind of just like, yeah, we have people subscribing to this, and we'll know kind of that it's less for them to manage and probably less for us to manage in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. But I'm not too far against what Microsoft's trying to do with the Game Pass. Possibly a little bit against like the Series X, but Phil Spencer has already said as well that they're selling their consoles at a loss. So they got to figure something out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, what is it for, Mike? You know, selling this like box. I'm gonna say, dude, it looks
Just-
like a trash can. I mean, I'm not that I'm not buying it for the
It
trash can
does.
design, but I'll
It
just
does.
I don't need it. But it's
But
just
but that
yeah,
hey, that new Porsche look that they got, the Porsche sponsorship.
yeah.
I mean, shout out Xbox tweeting back at us.
Oh, it was good. Yeah. Yeah, solid tweet. Didn't expect that. Saw it days later, you know? Because that's
Yeah,
just the
we
type of
neither
creators
one
we
of
are,
us
you know?
noticed. Yep, neither one
That's
of
the
us
type
noticed.
of
Sent it out
creators
on
we
the
are, baby.
weekend, looked away.
Yeah, shout out
Oh
Xbox though.
man.
The those Porsche consoles look pretty cool. Designs. I know like some people dogged some of them, but I mean it's if you're gonna have a trash can, at least add like a graphic or something to it. You know what I'm saying, Mike? You can look a little
That's a
something.
fact.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact. I
Crazy,
gotta
dude.
do like I gotta say, it's the perfect canvas if you're a really good artist to just draw on it, do whatever you want.
It's true. Yeah.
I think there could be a lot of potential in that.
Yeah. Honestly, you know, be kind of cool. And I know, like, well, now I don't know. Nowadays, probably console wise, like companies would be more for it. But I think it'd be cool to make it so that, like, if you're designing a console, make it easy for like the shell to come off, and then so you can let people actually customize their shell in like a unique way, whether it's like painting it, spray painting it, like drawing on it or
Yeah,
something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Now, granted, how many people would actually do it? That probably comes down to like a cost comparison of like, okay, do we want to spend the time in R&D to try and make it so that it's convenient for like a tenth of the market to do it? You know what I mean? So I think
that's
it'd be pretty
true.
cool. I'd love to be able to customize my own device, but you know, again, not many people would mess with that probably. So I could see the reason
Or
not to do it.
or hear me out. Make it better looking. Just like from the get-go. But then I don't want to get too much into it, but you could make the argument they try to go with like either all black or all white or like all gray because it's like very neutral and it can go in anybody's home, right?
Yeah,
Whereas whereas it's like if you go red, it's like you need somebody like very particular about colors, or you could have somebody very particular about colors not choose that console because of the color.
yeah.
There just needs to be more options, maybe, but probably comes down to cost, like you said.
Look, Microsoft, all I'm saying is the next console y'all make, I think you should just go with a salad bowl design. Just a nice little like bowl. And
Little
like
fishbowl.
you can because see that not only is it a good gaming console, but if they design it right, you could also like it could have two uses. Like, hey, I want to throw my keys in there, so like when I'm ready to
Yeah,
go, I can just you know I can have it like a storage. It's a storage container, and it also like stores data and plays games. You know? Just saying,
true.
be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Design wise,
it,
I don't know if it's possible, but hey, kind of cool.
anything's possible, man. 2023. Uh-oh.
Almost like EA splitting up. Possible, right, Mike?
Oh, what a segue. You crushed it right there. So, this next article is about EA Games, EA Entertainment, and EA Sports. So, it's coming from Matt Wales. He is out in Eurogamer.net. And the title of his article is EA Games becomes EA Entertainment, splits from EA Sports and restructuring. And the move is intended to empower our studio leaders with more creative ownership. So, pretty much what's going on is that EA has announced a major internal shakeup that will see it split into two separate organizations, EA Sports and EA Games, the latter now renamed to EA Entertainment. Writing on EA's website, CEO Andrew Wilson said the restructuring would empower our studio leaders with more creative ownership and financial accountability to make faster and more insightful decisions around development and go to market strategies. These steps will accelerate our business, drive growth, and deliver long term value for our people, our players, and our communities. Already, I'm thinking, dang, is EA so big they got to break up the band? You know what I mean? And have like two solo projects going on, or like it's kind of
Dude,
crazy.
nobody cooks in the kitchen over there. That's all I'm saying.
Divide and conquer. That's what this feels like. All right, so Laura
Yeah.
Miley.
Or a
It's
meal.
kind
That's I go meal, but that's I don't know.
we'll go with Meal. It's probably better. Laura Meal has been appointed president of EA Entertainment, Technology and Central Development, and its games leadership team will be structured much as before. Vince Zampella will continue to oversee Apex Legends, Star Wars games, and the Battlefield franchise, while Samantha Ryan remains responsible for lifestyle franchises and blockbuster single player experiences. Jeff Karp continues to lead EA Entertainment's mobile teams, and over on the newly separated EA Sports side of things, Cam Weber is president of the organization. His responsibilities include genre leading EA Sports experiences and our entire racing portfolio. David Tinson has been appointed to the lead of the EA Experience team, and former Chief Officer Chris Bruzo is retiring. The CFO, Chris Suh, I think that's what it is.
Croissant.
Chris Suh is also departing, with Stuart Canfield to fill his role. Wilson, who remains CEO of EA, says the leadership team will be working with their respective studios over the coming months to implement the company's newly announced organizational changes. Jeez, and like, we got one more paragraph, might as well finish it off. Today's news is the latest in a series of restructuring steps for EA that saw it lay off around 6% of its workforce in March. A further round of job losses were reported in June, and it's said to impact up to two-thirds of employees at Need for Speed No Limit Studios Fire Monkeys.
What
So
studio name?
yeah, it seems to be EA is basically restructuring their entire company and the way they do things. And this could be a good and a bad thing, I would guess. Is like maybe if you have enough of the cooks only concentrating on one single job in the kitchen, then they can be experts at that single job. I like it how they basically have it broken off between like you got one guy working on Apex Legends, Star Wars, and the Battlefield franchise. Those all kind of like stick together, you know? Because like Star Wars, Battlefront, stuff like that could kind of go with Battlefield. Apex Legends, also a shooter that's pretty intense. Then you got like another person entirely responsible to the blockbuster single player games. So Jedi Survivor comes right to mind right off that. And it's not Star Wars Outlaws that's done by EA, is it? I don't
That's a
think so.
Ubisoft title.
That is correct. So it's kind of interesting. I believe EA for the longest time had the IP for Star Wars, and they didn't renew their contract, which means other companies can take their shot at the IP. So Ubisoft going forward with it is pretty sick.
Boy, is Ubisoft taking this shot, Mike.
Yo, that's a
Need I
fact.
remind the audience how many studios that presenter spouted out whenever they were talking about Star Wars
Dude, it was
Outlaws?
like it was something like 10 different
Yeah,
studios.
it was
Now,
pretty
you want to talk
much
about too
like,
many cooks in the kitchen,
dude,
bro?
it was every Ubisoft studio on the planet pretty much working on that
It
thing
really
in
was.
some aspect. Um,
Yep. It
look,
looked good though. The gameplay looked nice. I gotta
sure did.
admit.
I mean, look, I'm probably gonna play it. TBH, you know,
Oh,
not gonna lie.
it's Star Wars.
Um,
Come on.
yeah, gotta check it out. I mean, this thing you're not a Jedi, so it's like I gotta see how they like do that because it's like you're just a bounty hunter.
Oh yeah.
But I see EA's restructuring, right? But Mike,
Mhm.
will they ever restructure in the eyes of God and game development morality? All right, after Battlefront, dude. After Battlefront, bro, we've seen the
Which
kind of
Battlefront?
Battlefront 2 is like the real culprit. But and then again, I probably shouldn't harp on a game that's what 4 or 5 years old at this point. But
No, we should definitely harp on the game. Are you kidding me?
okay, all right.
I mean, if you want to talk about loot boxes, let's talk about loot boxes, man. You want to talk about unfinished products that launch that turn out to be trash, and then a studio blames the consumers for not enjoying the trash? I mean, that's EA Games, bro. Sorry, EA Entertainment. Like, it's not gonna stop that. I don't. Okay, I think this is like it's not a rebrand because they still have EA Electronic Arts, right?
Right.
I think hopefully this is one of those like let's fix everything that we've been doing wrong. Take accountability for basically being the most despised company in all of gaming outside of I think 343 might be taking the cake, but it's like 343 didn't take as many games as EA
Oh, see,
has.
I will
You know what
say
I
though,
mean?
343 is not a publisher as well as a developer, right? So I mean, that's where EA takes the
That's
cake,
true.
but
That's true.
because
Yeah.
it's like they have more games that they don't even develop. It's just they grace them with their publisher touch that just like touches them
Yeah.
into the ground 6 feet under.
It's
Saying,
it's true. Like the proven track record of EA is basically, oh, this studio had a really good indie game. Oh, they're actually big enough to be their own studio. You know, let's go in there and like take over the IP and say we're going to basically give them unlimited funds. They do that, shut down the studio, and then move them over to work on like a Fortnite competitor or something, or like a Destiny 2 competitor, and then they absolutely bombs, and then everybody gets laid off.
no.
That's that's basically the EA model. Uh, I don't know, man.
This is a new like Battlefield's a good example. You had Battlefield 2042, right? Like
Yeah,
started off terribly. And look, this
yeah.
I firmly believe. I'll even make a statement. I don't think it's Dice's fault that game flopped. I think it had a lot to do with upper management and
I
EA's
think
part of
so
trying to
too.
push it out quickly.
Yeah, you can't
So
deny that DICE has a proven track record of great developers.
yeah, they
You
do. I
know,
mean, this thing like Battlefield when it first started out, fantastic.
it's good now.
Yeah. I
That's the
mean,
one
well,
thing people
it
didn't know.
recovered,
Like,
and it's probably because they
yeah,
just gave Dice room. They're like, all right,
yeah, yeah.
like,
It's just like, okay, you met your like deadline. We're gonna leave now. And then Battlefield 2042 is virtually a complete game and is done right now.
yeah,
But the problem is what we started talking about at the beginning of the game, and I even made a tweet about it. Is Battle Bits is like well beloved right now and has like crazy numbers. It actually has more people playing than all of the Battlefield games combined.
yeah.
And that just goes to show it's just like if you get the mechanics right and you get the playability right, like less bugs, less glitches and crashes, people don't care what the game looks like. Like look at Minecraft or Roblox. Those are the two most popular games on the planet. They look like trash, man. They do. They look like trash. But it's an amazing game, right? Am I crazy?
Dude, you're
Am I
not
crazy?
crazy, bro. I agree with you. That's why I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's true, dude. I
Bro,
100%
bro,
agree.
I'm gonna bring up a perfect game, and it's gonna piss off a lot of people if they've ever played it, and especially if they drank the Kool-Aid. And I told you about it in the DMs. Starfield. That game looks phenomenal. It's been in
So
development
good.
hell for over 10 years, $500 million in fundraising, not even out of alpha yet. Come on. Like, just make the game complete,
Oh
bro.
man,
Work on
dude.
the graphics later.
This is the
That's where I'm
thing.
at.
Check back on us in September and tell us if we're right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Facts.
it's hard to tell. These high ambitious AAA titles, you have to take it with a grain of salt, always going forward. And I don't know. I would hope one day, Mike, that we get to a point where we don't have this looming fear over us as gamers. But we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be within our lifetime. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah. I think it'll stop happening when we get rid of the pre-order sales. I think if people stop pre-ordering games before they're actually released, it'll prevent some of the developers from like releasing broken games,
Yeah,
or like manipulative marketing and monetization tactics. Um, or I mean, worse thing that could happen is like the government steps in, whatever government it's in. If you're like in the EU or the UK, they really crack down on loot boxes
it's
and like
true.
gambling in video games. So
It's true.
that's another route that can go, but it's a mess, man. And I don't think any company in development has had as much like backlash as Electronic Arts has had.
It's very
So
true.
we'll
And do we?
see if this rebrand works, the restructure. But
To a
sorry to
certain
interrupt you.
do not. I'm saying, no, it's not. I'm just saying, to a certain extent, it's deserved. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so. I think
So,
so.
oh, yeah. Anyways,
Speaking of well deserved, um, that's not the best segue. I'll be honest, it's not.
I mean,
But
depending on who you are, it could be.
that's true. But I think what I am positive about from the Sony side of the console wars allegedly is this next article that you're about to cover.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another Verge article from Tom Warren yet again. Dude, I think Tom just works all day. Like, you know,
Dude, that's all he does. I think he must have a bunch of people that give him insider information, so he just knows where to be and who to talk to at all times.
yeah, yeah. And I know he's married and has a dog, so you know, hopefully he still has time for family. But
I'm sure.
but yeah. So Sony, ladies and gentlemen, Sony is starting to test out cloud streaming PS5 games. Let's go, Mike.
It's about time. Put him in
Yeah.
the TVs. Let's go.
Yeah. So PlayStation Plus Premium members will eventually get access to stream PS5 games without having to download them to the console. This comes right after we just got news of a handheld that requires the console mic. You know what I'm saying?
That
And it's a
is
streaming device.
Fact. Of course.
So you know what?
But basically,
you know what I'm thinking?
yeah, go.
That handheld, I ain't gonna need a console eventually. That's all I'm saying. Because I can just stream over the internet. Just
I
like get
hope
an
so.
upgraded hardware version. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, I actually, oh my gosh. Imagine doing PlayStation VR 2 with the handheld as well, and then you're cloud gaming through a Sony TV. Like,
Crazy.
who needs a PS5? I don't.
I say we tweet at Sony. That's what I say.
Do you think they'll respond? Xbox would.
Right? Xbox would. That's all I'm saying, Sony.
We got proofs. All right, let's stop ranting. Let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sony says it has started testing the ability to stream PS5 games from the cloud. The PlayStation maker says it's testing cloud streaming for PS5 games and is planning to add this as a feature to its PlayStation Plus Premium subscription. Quote, we're currently testing cloud streaming for supported PS5 games. This includes PS5 titles from the PlayStation Plus game catalog and game trials, as well as supported digital PS5 titles that players own. This is coming from Nick
McGuire.
See, that's such an easy name, and my brain just can't read.
I only know it because I watched the Premier League and I'm an England fan. And you got Harry Maguire on the team. So
Yeah,
that's the only reason I know that last name.
plays to watch the football. So
Football.
Nick McGuire, VP of Global Services, Global Sales, and Business Operations at Sony Interactive Entertainment. When this feature launches, cloud game streaming for supported PS5 titles will be available for use directly on your PS5 console. A cloud feature of PS5 games would mean you'll no longer have to download games to your console to stream them to other devices. Sony currently supports streaming PS5 games to PCs, Macs, and iOS and Android devices, but you have to use your PS5 as the host to download and stream titles to your other devices. Where that infrastructure at, Mike? You know what I'm saying?
Not there yet, but hey, this is progress, right? Because we've been ranting about this for like 3 years since we've been doing the podcast and we've known each other. I've been saying Sony needs to get cloud gaming, and if they don't, they're going to fall behind. They've definitely fallen behind. Microsoft's way ahead.
Yep.
And maybe, just maybe, they can catch up in time.
Yeah, hopefully. That'd be nice. It has seemed obvious for months that Sony was working on cloud streaming for PS5 games. Recent job listings hinted at a new cloud gaming push, and then PlayStation chief Jim Ryan teased quite aggressive plans for cloud gaming last month. But Sony went on to reveal its PlayStation handheld codenamed Project Q by only confirming Wi-Fi streaming of PS5 games directly from a console. While Sony still hasn't detailed whether its PlayStation handheld will support PS5 cloud game streaming, this PlayStation Plus Premium cloud push is clearly a move toward that, even if there's no release date yet. That's pretty much what you're saying, Mike. Step in the right direction, you know?
Yeah. We still don't know what the price is going to be for the Project Q handheld device. So hopefully we hear something about that as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Sony CEO, I'm going to shorten the first name, Ken Yoshida. You like that?
That was pretty clever.
Ken Yoshida hinted earlier this month that the company is still in the early stages of cloud gaming, so perhaps Project Q will still launch in November without this key support. We think it's important for premium members to be able to enjoy as many games as possible via cloud streaming, says McGuire. We're in the early stages right now, and we can't wait to share more details when we're ready, including a launch timeframe. Sony's confirmation of PS5 cloud streaming comes more than 4 years after it unveiled a surprising partnership with Microsoft that would see the companies collaborate to develop future cloud solutions for game and content streaming services. We haven't heard much about this deal since 2019, and in 2021, PlayStation chief Jim Ryan said Sony was still at the exchanging ideas stage, despite an original promise of the game rivals exploring the use of Microsoft Azure data center based solutions for Sony games and content streaming services. Given Sony's recent mentions of AWS in its job listings, the Microsoft strategic partnership could well be over. I think it would make sense. It'd be,
Not shocked.
this is
they kind of burnt that bridge, I think.
yeah, I especially over the past few months with these
Yeah,
proceedings.
yeah.
Oh,
Though, oh my gosh, could you imagine being like a team leader trying to get your cloud gaming off the ground and you're in the meetings with Microsoft executives trying to get it to work while your like CEO and president of Sony and PlayStation is just talking massive trash to Xbox. That would be so awkward.
dude. Oh my gosh, it's so true. And this is the thing. It's not even like yeah, like there's like obvious problems between the two companies and there's arguments there, but it's also like just I think it's just sacrilegious for Sony to use Azure for their like data
Oh
hosting.
yeah.
It's just like kind of weird. I mean, it'll work. It would work obviously, and they could make it work. But it's just like I think it's pretty funny that it. I think it's definitely not. You know, it's not crazy that it just didn't work, or it seems like it's not
Yeah.
gonna work. Um,
There's no way. They probably charge them a premium too.
yeah. This thing. I mean, look, AWS is fantastic. A lot of and so is Azure. But I think the fact that they're probably hiring more AWS like centric developers, yeah, they're
Oh yeah.
probably going AWS. Which hey, more business for Amazon because you know they need it, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, they're struggling.
Just
That's right.
struggling startup. But yeah. Overall though, yeah, I want to see PlayStation games over cloud. Like it's I
I do
think
too.
once like whenever we get there, which I at this point seems inevitable, I think it's gonna be a good day, and it's gonna invite more people into Sony ecosystem. And granted, they're not gonna have the same library as Microsoft, of course, with Game Pass, but I think just being able, having the ability to stream any like PlayStation game in general, like even if it's not PS5, like an entire back catalog, like
Yeah.
it would be insane. I mean, they'd probably never do it, but like a dream would be like if they essentially had the entire back catalog of PS1, PS2, like PS3 games, and you
Dude,
could just play it over the cloud, and you just had that whole library for a small fee a month. I mean, dude,
I would sign up tomorrow.
that's the
Like
thing. And
easily.
I mean, Xbox obviously, even their library is not that vast for cloud streaming, but it's
No, it's really not.
but
It's like
dude,
250 games or something like that, and they just really hit you with the heavy hitters every now and then. But they cycle as well,
yeah,
so it's like you gotta make sure you play it when you want to play it or when you can.
yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, and that's also how they get you to stay subscribed, right? Because they're trying to
Oh
rotate the
yeah,
catalog. But at the same time, it's like if this is I think it's a way for these companies to go back on their older IP and their older games and make money off of that again, which I think would be
oh yeah,
amazing from a business standpoint. But yeah, you also they have to figure out like kind of a song and dance with it of, how do we because obviously like it probably wouldn't be the best, like although for the consumer it'd be great, but I think business wise it may not be the best to just say like here's the entirety of our catalog throughout history. And they, probably will rotate games in and out and stuff. And they, infrastructure wise, it would probably be next to impossible to host all of those games, at once. So, I'm sure
true.
infrastructure wise, there may be some difficulty. We may not be there yet. But dude, that's the dream, honestly, for me. Like one day.
I think the one thing you're missing about the game catalog, and you'll know this because I think you just basically recently started messing with emulators, is that in order to do a game like cloud streaming, you would have to do one of two things. You'd either have to update all of the games from like previous generations to the newer hardware, newer like networking
Yeah,
ability if it has online ability and stuff like that. Or if it doesn't have online ability, how does that work? That kind of thing. Or you're going to have to run it through a cloud-based emulator in order to play those old games. And then you're going to have an emulator for each individual console plus the internet
yeah,
to make
very
it
true.
work. It's like that's really challenging right now, especially for the developers that are working on like Xbox Emu Station or That's like the Xbox 360 emulator, and then there's Dolphin as well. There's like Retro Arch that messes with pretty much everything before 1999, and it's kind of that's the trouble that they keep having. And even then, you technically have the hard copies because you have the original game files, but you got to run it through like old processing software, and it's like a whole mess.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're really talking about. We're mostly talking about like PlayStation 5 and their title is finally getting to Game Pass. Or not Game Pass, sorry, cloud gaming. I'm so used to saying Game Pass and cloud gaming that it's like their branding's working on me. It's synonymous now. Uh,
Yeah,
no, with PlayStation 5, if they can make it so I don't have to have a PS5, I will probably buy the cloud service.
I would too.
If I can
Are
play
you
it on
kidding
like a
me?
PC or any type of device. If I can get this like little USB device similar to what Fire Stick is,
Yeah,
like I'll definitely do that in a heartbeat. I would love to play single player games. They're not that bad on cloud.
yeah.
The delay isn't that bad. So
Yeah. I think if you get a box too, if you have some sort of streaming device, that's probably gonna be the best way to do it at the current state our like internet
yeah,
infrastructure's in. But
like the old Apple TVs.
right, yeah, yeah. But I think like see I'm TV shopping. I think I mentioned this before, you know. I'm trying
Yep,
to look for a TV over the summer.
Samsung.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking
And
about.
this thing, I'm leaning towards Samsung because it's you have the ability to
Cloud.
stream like xCloud, Luna, GeForce Now. Like you have the ability to stream those games directly to the TV, no other hardware required, which is awesome. Could Sony, if they do like a sort of cloud thing, could they just start implanting their own app and then I'd be able to play that? It's like be pretty sick. So
Yeah,
yeah. But I think also having the ability to have a streaming device is I feel like at least right now I feel like would be a must for like early adopters and just making sure that you know you can use any sort of display. But it's just a cheaper kind of little box that you know will be able to kind of hold will be able to withstand and uphold the processing power that'll be needed for this. So
yeah.
um
I,
yeah.
I I think that's totally fair. I think I'm I'm gonna just beat a dead horse at this point. Cats in the
Yeah.
can.
Hey, don't
Um,
bite my
beat
mic.
a dead
You
horse
see
at
this
this
cat?
point.
Get out of here.
Now the cat's the show. Meanwhile,
Get
my
out of
dog
here.
is fast asleep. Not this time. Uh, yeah. So, like, why doesn't Sony put the PlayStation inside of a TV yet? I don't understand. I really don't, and I can't comprehend it. Um, can't say its size because we used to have CRT TVs and like PVMs are really just massive boxes in the living room that weighed like 180 pounds. So it's like, come on, man,
Yeah.
make it work. But yeah, I guess that's my take on it. It's good. I wish it was already here.
Yeah, I do
There's a
too,
demand.
honestly. There's definitely a demand. This thing, you said, dude, they're behind. And I hope that is no longer the
Yeah.
case here over the coming years.
The good news is they're not behind on like first party games, like exclusives, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
Last of Us totally crushes it. Gears of War, Final Fantasy, although Final Fantasy is not exclusive, but it always kind of hits different on the PlayStation. You know?
It does for sure. Get it together, Sony. You know, I want to stream your games.
Facts. I'll jump ship. I'll get off the Samsung TV hype and start getting over on the Sony hype. If you just make cloud gaming a thing, man.
Very true. But you know what? Still requires hardware, Mike.
Oh, well, it's always going to be Nintendo.
Nintendo. You know
I
who
just
to.
realized we're hitting everything, dude. We hit Microsoft, we hit EA, we hit
Yeah, no, I was gonna
Xbox, we hit
say
Sony, and it's like the last but not least is Nintendo, bro. Nintendo
giant,
June 2023 Nintendo Direct.
giant.
Dude.
We literally the full arch of the big three. We just like
Oh,
encompassed in one episode. But yeah,
dude, I'm
dude.
actually pretty excited to cover this one. I hope. Am I looking at the same article as you? I am. Good. You're just scrolled
Yeah.
down. You had me concerned, bro. Oh, okay, let's hit it. So Nintendo Direct was technically today, June 21st.
Yep.
So by the time you guys hear it, you're probably already gonna know what's in it, but we're gonna cover it anyway. If you haven't, listen up. So this is Nintendo Direct, June 2023, all the news and trailers. This comes from Andrew Webster, who we've covered several times over at The Verge. And pretty much the way it starts off is with if all of the many summer gaming events weren't enough, Xbox, PlayStation, Capcom, uh, Ubisoft Summer Games Fest. Here comes Nintendo with its second direct presentation of the year. And if you remember last year, it totally hit. I think that's where they pretty much showcased Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin.
Yeah,
So this one, you kind of were like, well, let's see how it goes, right? So here we go. What makes this particular direct interesting is how likely it is to be full of surprises. With Tears of the Kingdom already out and Pikmin 4 launching in July, the rest of Nintendo's 2023 lineup is a big old question mark. That means just about anything could be announced at the direct, including major Nintendo franchises like Metroid. We haven't heard about Metroid Prime 4 in a while, or Super Mario. A movie and a theme park have already come out this year.
pretty
And
fire.
maybe we'll finally hear about mythical releases like Hollow Knight, Silksong, or Mother 3, which has been rumored for the longest time.
Yeah, a
Um,
very long time.
yeah, so I'm actually kind of disappointed. I never got out and watched Super Mario. I think it might be on Amazon Prime or one of those like streaming services. So I need to watch it. They're also, oh dude, side note, they're hinting at a Zelda game or a Zelda movie. And
Yeah.
that
Oh
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
perfect if they could do something similar to like The Last of Us kind of stuff. Make it like a one for one.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Ocarina of Time. That could be a little bit complicated. Maybe Breath of the Wild. Who knows? But anyways, let's get into it. So this event will last around 40 minutes, and you can stay up to date on all the important announcements and trailers right here. So I guess Andrew went ahead and did this live
Yeah,
as he was going through it.
so it's
Basically
essentially
tweets.
yeah, it's a giant updated live article throughout the presentation. So
Ah,
yeah, so it kind of
perfect.
he
So this
started the
is kind of
intro
like
and then he just shotgunned all the points as they came out.
I am very familiar with this when I don't have cable TV and I'm trying to watch a Premier League match. go to the go to the live
Yeah,
feed and it's
yeah,
basically like a forum thread play by plays. Or NFL does that too. If you like play fantasy football, you know what I'm talking about. So the first pin, are these in order of timestamps or do we need to go back? We might need to go backwards, man.
yeah. So I guess the bottom is the earliest because it was like it's back to when they like announced it yesterday of like oh this is gonna be direct. So yeah, it kind of goes backwards
Oh
and then
yeah, it goes backwards. Look at that.
as the announcements rolled in, that's when they started
All right, let's
really
do this.
moving.
Let's do it a little bit opposite for the people. Let's scroll down. Get to about uh, today at 9:45 a.m. and he starts it with "Let's a go."
It's a go.
Yeah, so we'll start at this article and just move on up. So it's 9:45 a.m. Eastern time on the U.S. It officially starts off at 10, and basically it's going to include whatever is going on with Nintendo and their plans for the Switch going forward. If we go ahead and just start scrolling up, I'm gonna probably speed run this a little bit, but enough to where if you see something interesting, definitely interrupt me and we'll talk
Uh,
about it. So the first
yeah.
one is Chaos Control of New Emerald Powers. So this is forgive the tortured Shadowrun pun, he says. We got to look at some of the powers you'll gain from Chaos Emeralds in the new 2D Sonic game Sonic Superstars during the direct. And it ever wanted to climb a waterfall in a Sonic game? Well, a Chaos Emerald will let you do that. So that's pretty cool. We got an opportunity to really see more of Sonic Superstars, which I believe was mentioned not too long ago when we first saw this. Was it in the direct or was it actually most recently at Summer Games Fest? I
Is
think it
that
was
a
Summer
Summer
Games
Games Fest?
Fest.
Yeah. This is the
Yeah.
main
I
announcement. So
I love the old style of Sonic games, so this was pretty exciting for me and all the different characters you can play as. And there was a little bit of 3D here and there.
yeah.
So, really cool.
Yeah, dude, a more modernized 2D version is always welcome to me. I think it looks sick.
Yep.
So yeah.
Oh, look at that. You are actually swimming up the waterfall. That was sick.
Yeah,
Really cool ability.
you get to play as so many different characters too. 4-player co-op, like
Dude,
crazy.
Nintendo just knows how to do the couch games
Yeah,
with all your
for real.
friends. So Sonic is probably going to be a hit. The next one was pretty cool. So Peaches, the video game. So we don't know much about it at all, but Nintendo has confirmed that a new game starring Princess Peach will be launching on the Switch sometime next year. This is pretty surprising, don't you think? This is like I think this might be the first game where they really star as Princess Peach in it. Um,
Yeah,
it only makes sense, I think. There's probably been a little lack of representation outside of like characters similar to Samus in
yeah,
Metroid, but like female lead characters.
right.
So I think that was kinda cool, and Princess Peach is, like, a super iconic character.
Yeah. And if you saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Princess Peach was a badass in that movie, so I think it's right that she finally gets a game. And I think it's one of those things like in that movie, showing her character and stuff like that. It was
Yeah.
like yeah, like that was sick. And so the fact that we're seeing a game like this, I hope they kind of take that route a little bit of kind of like this is what
Yeah.
Princess Peach is about, and this is what she could do. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, you know that I think about it, like, I think Nintendo's kinda just always been pretty intense with their female, like, characters or leads. Because if you think about Zelda, it's like, 1, the game's named after her,
Yep.
Princess Zelda,
Right.
but she also has a separate character in Ocarina of Time where she's Sheik, and it's like, that's one of the most
Yeah.
badass characters and surprise reveals. Shocker if you haven't ever played Ocarina of Time, but
Spoiler
there's
alert.
definitely a spoiler, that happens towards the end of the game, but but it's pretty sick. So let's continue on. The next one is another Luigi game. So this is Dark Side of the Moon, um, Luigi's Mansion, and it was originally released for the Nintendo 3DS and is currently in development and coming to the Nintendo Switch. I think this is pretty exciting to bring back the old franchise of Luigi's Mansion, and I thought overall it was gonna be good.
Um,
What do you think?
yeah, it was originally released on the 3DS, and so now it's actually coming to the Switch. So I guess they're probably gonna. Um, I feel like they'll probably. I mean, it says visually enhanced version, so I don't know if they'll change
Oh
much
yeah,
mechanically, um, but the Switch is a mobile console, so it should fit pretty nicely, I think.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, definitely. Always cool to see when you get, like, the remastered versions, because it's not technically a remake, I guess?
yeah, right,
Remastered?
yeah.
Yeah. Ported versions. The next one I found interesting. I honestly didn't even know this was a thing, so I'm kind of embarrassed to talk about it.
I
So, Super
I'm right there
Mario.
with you, Mike. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you didn't know either?
I'm right
Okay.
there with you, dude.
Okay, so what we're talking about is the Super Mario role-playing game RPG, and it's getting a remake for the Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo is remaking one of the most beloved RPGs of all time, Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars. Most beloved RPG of all time. I guess I'm not that big of an RPG fan. I
Yeah,
did not know this game existed.
yeah.
So
I feel like probably when I was looking through emulators at one point, looking at games, I probably ran across it, but like I was just like, there's like an RPG for Super Mario. I was like so confused, and I just didn't
yeah,
download it. But I don't know. I stand corrected. I guess it's a
I think it's
beloved game.
pretty sick. Yeah, they're bringing Mallow back, Geno, uh, Birdo, and Booster apparently. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, there's Birdo right there. That's pretty sick.
Dude, what is this?
I had no idea. I really didn't. So this is gonna be something to watch, something to look forward to if you're big into RPGs and you're just waiting for basically another Super Mario. Really.
Hey, want to ride Yoshi? Sure. Yeah, you can.
Yes, sir. The next one we got is Pikmin. So a little bit more of a Pikmin update. Pikmin are still cute as heck, and now they glow. We already knew that Pikmin 4 was coming to the Switch on July 21st, so that's just next month. That's pretty sick. And today we got a new trailer that digs pretty deep into the gameplay. There are lots of plant puns and adorable creatures. In other words, it's Pikmin. Except now there's a scary nighttime mode, and luckily there are new glowing Pikmin to make it slightly less creepy. And of course, art style looks pretty cool, and it's Pikmin. It's the old IP coming back and being sick.
Is that a dog? Looks like a dog.
Looks like there's some puzzles like you would expect. Get your whole crew of Pikmin together. You're all moving around.
Oh my gosh, they all stick to the dog.
Obstacle courses, adventure finding. This is cool. Real cool.
Ooh, throw the
Beating
Pikmin
up
at
some
him.
bosses. Let's go. Throw
Yeah.
your Pikmin. Let's get it.
Game Boy Advanced
Whoa.
SP. Let's
They got a
go.
Game Boy Advance SP out there
It's pretty
too. That's
cool.
cool.
Nice little dog.
Another thing to follow up with is literally like the next thing is Pikmin 1 and 2 are coming to Nintendo Switch on Wednesday. Digital only, but the release of the games means you can play Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch ahead of the release of Pikmin 4 in July. So pretty much for people that are hyped about Pikmin 4, get back out there and start playing Pikmin 1, 2,
It's
and
available
3.
right now, guys.
That's a
Fire
fact.
up your Switch, dog.
Let's get it. So the next game is Vampire Survivors. This is one that's been out for a while, if I'm not mistaken, but it's finally coming to the Switch in August with local co-op. So it is the chaotic monster slaying game, and it is headed there very soon. And you'll be able to play with up to 3 other friends in a local multiplayer. Uh, Jay Peters over here has said that he has played Vampire Survivors almost entirely on his Steam Deck, so he thinks it would be an absolute blast on the Switch. The game is coming to Switch on August 17th and couch co-op to PC, Xbox, and mobile that same day too. So this is pretty
Local
much going to
co-op. Let's go.
all those spots, bro. Next one is something that we've kind of known. It's been on the horizon. We've talked about it several times, and it's the Mario Kart DLCs that have been coming out in waves. So this is the next
Sure.
pack, the DLC pack. It is the Booster Course pack. So it's gonna be a hot. This one. Sorry, stumbling on my words. We're talking a lot here. So Andrew Webster has basically said it's coming. It's going to be a hot Mario Kart summer. The waves of DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe keep chugging along. And next up is number 5, which debuts later this summer. Among other things, it adds Kamek and Wiggler as characters. Is it Kamek or Kamek?
I honestly
I
don't
don't know.
know. All I know is the piranha plant from a Double Dash is in there, so pretty
That's a
sick.
fact. Yeah, it's gonna
Pretty
be a good
sick.
time. I know this game is still like super popular online, and people are having a great time.
Yeah. I
So
mean, look, there's not. I mean, I commend Nintendo for not just making a new Mario Kart every year and just saying like, "Hey, we have a pretty good game
yeah,
here. Let's just iterate over it and just make it insane." And so when all the DLC comes out, it's gonna be like a very, very like vast game, and you'll be able to do a lot. So I
oh heck
commend
yeah,
them.
dude. Heck yeah. The next one that they basically went into right afterwards is Super Mario Bros. And it is the Wonder Brings 2D action to the Switch in October. So Mario's big year continues following the debut of a theme park and animated movie. 2023 will also be getting the next Super Mario Bros. Game. It's called Super Mario Bros. Wonder and is a return to the 2D side scrolling action of the original games and the new Super Mario Bros. Series. It has some weird new abilities, including the ability to turn into an elephant. And I've already seen tons of memes online about that. Pretty
Yeah.
excited about. This one's going to launch October 20th, which adds to the plethora of games in September and August that are hidden this year. That's going to be very exciting across Sony and Xbox, not just Nintendo. But the last mainline Super Mario game was Odyssey, which hit the Switch back in 2017. Since then, we've had spin offs like Super Mario Maker 2, the Retro Collection Super Mario 3D All Stars, and the 3D World expansion Bowser's Fury. So, dude, it's been a minute since we got another Super Mario game, I guess.
Them for sure.
And it's just, it looks like Nintendo's just going back to the classics, man.
I gotta say, dude, like I'm loving these updated 2D games. I think this looks sick. I think the taking the
Platformers
2D,
are back, bro.
yeah, taking the 2D and just modernizing it, especially these older like Nintendo titles, just seeing what's possible now in
Yeah.
this like because just like development wise, what it's just you could see what more they can do with it too. It's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just the level of detail and stuff I can add now. So I don't know. I'm excited for this. I'm curious to see how it plays.
It's looking good, man. Let's continue on, shall we? So another update from Jay Peters over here. This one I was pretty surprised about. It is about Wario Wars. WarioWares? WarioWares. Yeah,
Yeah,
WarioWare's latest gimmick is making you move your body.
dude.
Interesting take.
Dude, I have to say, dude, I love like the WarioWare games. Like way back in the day, I played them. And dude, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited it's coming to Switch, dude. It's just it's like it's just fun party games, right? I love them. So
yeah,
pretty
that
good.
is so cool. So let me just go ahead and read real quick while the trailer plays. For people that are just watching. But for those not watching, here you go. So Nintendo is releasing a new WarioWare game for the Switch, and the gimmick for this one is moving. The WarioWare Move It. You'll move and shake your way through the 200 micro games while holding onto Joy-Con controllers. Nintendo's trailer for the game showed off a bunch of silly games, or silly micro games, which will force you to do things like shake paws with a dog, ski down a mountain, flail your arms in the air, and even slide down a slide you might be familiar with if you've ever played Super Mario 64. The game isn't just a solo endeavor. You'll also be able to play local co-op with a friend for what's sure to be some very silly shenanigans, or you can play special mini games in a party mode with up to 3 players. Are you dressed as?
I leave you with this image right here of
I just
Wario
I
as a
I'm over
train.
here reading. I look over at my monitor. I'm like, is that A Thomas the Tank Engine, but Wario.
It is, dude. With arms, dude. Oh my gosh. What is this game?
My man's
I want to
jacked.
play it. I want to play this game so bad. I mean, dude, just look at the ridiculous legs on this individual. The limbs,
Is,
the
is that
stretchy
Waluigi?
limbs. I I don't know. There's some stretchy limbs though.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I almost bust out laughing. Shake your body. Like, dude, this is ridiculous. Oh my god.
That's what WarioWare games are about. That's what the Wario character is about. Just to be outrageously
Yeah.
obnoxious
Yeah.
and
This
fun.
game I want to play. It's a party game too.
Yep.
So you get people around.
November 3rd, man. 2023.
Are you gonna pre-order it today, Mike? Are you?
Maybe. I think Nintendo might be the only thing I ever pre-ordered.
Oh,
They're the only ones that
okay.
seem to hit.
Heard it here first.
Anyways, let's keep it going. Let's hit up. This is something that was actually covered, I believe, in Summer Games Fest and even slightly mentioned in the last direct. But
Yeah.
it's about the Metal Gear collection is coming to the Switch October 24th, as well as confirming a release date for Konami's Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. Nintendo's Direct also gave us our best look yet at the impressive breadth of content. The collection includes not just the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games, but the first 2 Metal Gear Solid. Wait, what? Did I read that wrong?
Who typed that?
Not just the first 3 Metal Gear Solid and first 2 Metal Gear games. Oh, yeah, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear. Jeez. But also the NES port of the first Metal Gear.
Dude,
Its
look at that.
non-canon Shakes Revenge sequel and the comic book adaptations of Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. If the price is right, it could be an amazing deal.
That's a lot of content here. That's all I'm saying.
That's a lot of content. Like, if
Yeah.
you're a Metal Gear fan, like, this is where you need to be.
I mean, yeah, honestly, like the Metal Gear games, this may be my opportunity to go back and play them because like I've wanted to play them. Now it's like they're all just coming out. It's like this might be it. It's probably the
I think
opportunity.
it is. You're about to find out probably soon.
Yeah.
October
That's true.
24th isn't far away, so
Yeah.
we'll hear about the prices soon enough.
Mike, there's so many games, dude. I don't even know if I'm gonna have
Dude,
time in
tell me about
October.
I need a Dragon Ball Z hyperbolic time chamber. And I just need to go in there for like one day, which is a year of their time. Year in the chamber.
Yeah.
And just play everything I want to play. But anyways, let's go ahead and hit it with the next game that was covered. And I'm kind of surprised that this already has a DLC. So it's a trailer for the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. So it would have been nice to get a proper release date for the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's upcoming DLC during today's Nintendo Direct. But at the very least, the new trailer for the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disc expansions does deliver on something players have been jonesing for since launch. More fashion.
Fashion, yeah.
Fashionista. Let's go, dude. So what we get into is along with the new trainers, Carmine and Kieran, the Teal Mask and the Indigo Discs. Latest trailer provides a bit more detail about Kitakami, the new locale Pokemon Scarlet and Violet players will travel to as they participate in the town's traditional festival of masks. In addition to a variety of new hairstyles and outfits that weren't available to the games previously, the DLC will also feature a storyline revolving around new Pokemon Okidoji, Monkey Dory, and Pheasant D. Petey, a seemingly legendary trio known as the Loyal Three. And Ogerpun, the evil ogre, they protect Kitakami from. So, as you can tell by my pronunciation and lack of confidence, you can tell I have not played this game. So,
Same.
Yeah, but it's looking good.
Yeah. DLC looks pretty solid. Will it be as broken as the game on release? The world may never know until it
Oh no, that's true. It was kind of buggy, wasn't it?
Yeah. I guess they fixed it. Honestly, I didn't keep track, so. See,
Neither did
they're
I.
releasing DLC though. They're probably on it, you know.
That's a fact. Moving on to the next one, I'm probably more comfortable with is, of course, Zelda. So, Link, you must find these other Tears of the Kingdom amiibos. So, we got more updates about the amiibos, and holiday 2023 might mean any number of specific dates, but the key to getting your hands on these choice Zelda and Ganon Tears of the Kingdom amiibos is whenever they release is probably going to have to be having the wherewithal to place a pre-order, or to have an uncle working at Nintendo.
Rather hard to get
So,
these, they say.
yep, that's what it seems like. The amiibos are super collectibles. I know a buddy of mine that has multiples of these. They did never stop coming, it feels like.
Yeah,
But
right.
amiibos, for those that don't know, if you haven't ever played the games, amiibos typically give you some type of advantage or let you unlock different things within the game and just increase the overall experience of the game. And with Tears of the Kingdom being the new hit title for Nintendo Switch, it only makes sense to have some amiibos coming out specifically designed for Tears of the Kingdom. And that's basically what this is about.
Amiibo X Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Something I'm very excited about is Detective Pikachu. That is going to return. So, Detective Pikachu is getting a sequel in October. You'll be able to once again solve mysteries with Tim Goodman and his coffee loving Pikachu with a voice that sounds suspiciously like Will Arnett. So, the first Detective Pikachu game launched on the DS in 2018. In it, Tim Goodman and a strangely verbose Pikachu in a funny hat work together to solve various mysteries around Rhyme City while investigating the disappearance of Tim's missing father. Despite it being a Pokemon game, Detective Pikachu has some oddly dark themes with a plot that's basically a Nintendo-fied version of the James Bond movie. That's kind of like a good way to describe it, to be honest. The movie was awesome. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
Definitely want to watch it
still
again, to
have
be
not seen
honest.
it. Need to see it.
What? Okay, dude, that's you can't go watch
Dude,
Super Mario
that's
and
homework,
not
dude.
watch Detective Pikachu, bro.
Alright, that's homework, I see.
Yes, it
So
is. And you know what? We're not doing the next podcast episode until you watch it. So if we don't
please?
have an episode next week, now you guys know why.
Okay. What's the streaming service? We'll have to Google it after.
I'll do it right now. Let's get it. I
What's
know
the
we're already
streaming service
over
for Detective
my
Pikachu?
goal of under an hour podcast, but it just doesn't exist, dude. I've given up.
I mean,
So
here's the
Detective
good news
Pikachu
is that was
streaming
like the last
service.
thing from the direct, so there's really not too much more to go into detail. But
That's very
direct,
true.
yeah.
Dude, it's on Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus. Come on.
Disney Plus. All right.
Disney Plus, baby. You got to get it.
I think I had that and
So,
ESPN Plus. I feel like it'd be
let's get
weird
it.
that it's on ESPN Plus, but I mean, if
I
they
think it's
say
even on Roku. Come on.
Roku
All right,
TV,
you got to go watch
the
it, dude.
free
You got to go
service.
watch it. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
actually
dude.
on TNT, TBS as well, and Amazon Prime or Prime Video. Google Play, dude. There's so many options. You got to do it.
All right, I don't
All
have a
right.
choice.
No, you
If
don't.
you've
All right.
held my hand.
The last thing that was mentioned is basically the recap, right? It's the 5 biggest announcements from the June 2023 Nintendo Direct. So let's kind of just end the podcast after this, the recap of Nintendo Direct. And
Let's recap, Mike.
this is a prior to Nintendo's second big Direct presentation of the year. The company's holiday 2023 calendar was pretty sparse, but that's no longer the case. Nintendo announced a handful of major releases headed to the Switch over the coming months, including a pair of Super Mario titles, a new WarioWare, which you're excited about, a Detective Pikachu game, and we also got a better look at the upcoming expansions for Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. And Nintendo even teased new Luigi and Princess Peach games for the year. So what do you think? Is it a hit? Is it a miss? Are we excited?
It's a hit.
It's
It's
a
a hit,
hit.
honestly. I think it was.
What do you think? 2 straight weeks of nothing but like fire from all the
Bangers,
different
dude.
podcasts, like not the podcasts, the showcases and directs and all this
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah, dude, I mean, this thing, yeah, Nintendo. It was one of those things we didn't really hear much, but there was still a lot of question marks about Nintendo after Summer Games Fest. For the fact that we're kind of revisiting that, sort of after the fact. I think it was really smart by Nintendo, but it's also just like there's a lot of like fun games and like the 2D Mario looked great. Detective Pikachu's back. That's really cool. Like that. The WarioWare game, I think it's really cool. WarioWare's back in a new way.
Yeah.
That'll be utilizing the Switch to the fullest. And yeah, I mean, Pokemon DLC. There you go. I mean, people that love those Pokemon games for as bad as they released, it seems like they've come around, and we now have a DLC that is that will accompany that, and you can wear Pikachu masks. So there you go.
That's actually pretty sick.
It's pretty sick. Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. Overall, I'm very happy with this. The fact that also the Metal Gear games are all going to be on the Switch too. There's a lot. There's a lot of reason to fire up the old Switch, Mike. Am I right?
Yeah, speaking of which, you know what I'm doing after the podcast, man?
Oh, baby.
I'm powering through Breath of the Wild.
That's
We
my
got to get a
guy.
couple more shrines. We got to get the Master Sword, and then we got to go cook some divine beasts and then go whoop Gannon's butt.
This is
That's
the
the
thing.
goal.
Mike, you deserve it after this week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact, dude. I've had a
The
week.
man deserves to sit down and
I've
play
had a
some
week,
play
man.
some Zorda. You know what I'm saying?
You know
So,
what? Dare I say I might make myself a cocktail. It might.
honestly, dude, that's a vibe.
A respectable young gentleman as myself. I'm gonna get myself a nice big glass of scotch and just sit over there and just sip and play my Nintendo Switch like a 12-year-old, except for the drinking part. But like,
Light a little
just have
candle
a
if
good
you
time.
got one. Throw
Dude,
on
I
some
got
Kenny
candles.
G, then just fade some low Kenny G. Just hear some sax, and you're just playing.
Oh, my man,
Zelda.
you know who I'm living with. I'm with the witch, dude. We got candles. We got candles, bro. Oh, jeez.
Oh
All right, I
man,
feel like
we're getting out of hand.
this is
We gotta.
we're out of pocket, but you know what? I feel like we're good on the hour and 15-minute podcast timing that we've been doing. And this is finally, I feel like this is the first podcast in 2-3 weeks where it's just been solely about the last week in review.
Yeah,
And it feels good to
yeah,
be back on the regular routine.
yeah. It feels really good. Not gonna lie. I'm
So
glad we get some articles. You know.
that's a fact. That's a fact. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the upcoming articles because this next week, bro, we're probably going to hear about like FTC filing for Microsoft Activision Blizzard.
Oh
We're going to hear
man.
about some other stuff unrelated to gaming. It'll be cool. It'll be
Yeah.
cool to see what happens. Very
Yeah.
exciting times.
Yeah, it could be a big week. And also, for those of you that don't know, we didn't mention it, but Steam Next Fest is this week. So
Yep.
if you want to check out some indie titles on Steam, see what they're announcing there, that is going on all throughout this week. So I think I think the last day will be Monday. So there's kind of the last weekend here, and then, but yeah, just go see some of the titles that were announced. And go play some games. Go play some demos. There's gonna be tons of demos. So go
So
check out some
many.
stuff.
So many to sign up for. And there's like plenty of more little small showcases here and there, adding more content from the Summer Games Fest because that was just so much stuff all at once. It wasn't really specified. So for like specific developer specific games, they have more showcases coming up in the next
Yeah.
couple of weeks. Very good time
Yeah.
to be a gamer.
Very true. And we also updated the events for the rest of the year because we got more announcements on like showcases and everything. So the Discord has everything you need to know about upcoming stuff. Annapurna is at the end of this month. THQ Nordic's having a little direct in August.
Mhm.
And then of course August will be Gamescom and everything. Exciting
Yes,
times,
sir.
dude. Exciting times.
I'm looking forward to it, man. So I think it's time to let the people go. I'm gonna get ready, probably play some Breath of the Wild, set up the Xbox, wait until we get this old we'll set up the Xbox for Halo 2, wait until we get enough people to play, and I'll basically hop off of Breath of the Wild, come in here and start playing some Halo 2.
Yeah.
And
I have some
that'll
X-Define
be
open
this
beta
time.
to play for this. So I'm gonna play some X-Define with the boys.
Let's go.
Because that open beta
Let's
is this
get it,
week.
man.
The open beta is I think through like Saturday or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna hop on and play tonight. So
Heck yeah. Side note, one of the things I was watching is there's this game that's like super trendy right now, and it's called A Way Up. Have you seen it?
I've actually heard of it. I don't know if I've seen it. I feel like I've heard of the game everywhere.
I don't know if it's A Way Up or if it's like Only Way Up. I think
It
that's the name of the
sounds
game.
really familiar, but
Yeah. But it's
yeah.
basically like the guy, the guy with the pot and then he has a sledgehammer, he's like climbing up the mountain and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that game but in 3D. Is it A Way Up?
Way Up. Yeah, I was just
I,
googling off the thing. This is an older game. It's like
that's definitely an older game. I
um,
don't know, maybe it's a mod, but the point of the game is get from like base level to space and you're climbing and doing these crazy obstacles. So I've been watching people play that on Steam
yeah,
or not Steam, Twitch and YouTube. So
very
whatever.
interesting.
That's just what I wanted to mention. If anybody's looking for something new and trendy right now, that's something to look forward to. But I think let's let the people go, man.
Oh
It's
yeah,
time to let them go. So without further ado, thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've seen video like views going up. Really appreciate it. Anything we've ever covered in this article or this podcast episode is linked below, so you can check out the articles and follow us on Twitter. Say what's up to us. Reach out to us. If you got feedback, let us know. If you don't like our takes in the YouTube Shorts, let us know. We'll think you're wrong, but we're gonna. I think it's good to hear back from you.
we will think
Um,
you're wrong. He's not. He's not wrong.
but anyways, I'm your host, Mike Lanty, my co-host, Kyle Heath, and we appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. This is the M2 Podcast. See you later.
Bye everyone.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks.